Hi, welcome to Retroflix. This is your channel for retrospectives of movies and television. First, I want to start off by saying I apologize for not being, I was meant to be back a month ago. Best laid plans, right? So I ended up being away out through Christmas and up in New Year's, and just where I was, I just decided, well, I'm just going to wait until I go back and not do a video, not do like even a 5-minute video from my chair to come back into my environment. Unfortunately, I only have this month, and then I'm moving. So I'm moving out of the state where I am right now and going to, so I might not have the capacity to do a video while I'm doing that too. So I hope that in the month of January I'm getting some things, and I might be on a hiatus again. I hope is, and this is what I'm really striving on doing, is by like March or April to really be back into what I was before. But unfortunately, life has just happened here over the last, since November really. I had to go away to visit family, and had that time to do that over the holidays, and of course I'm going to be moving too. So at least it's looking that way anyway. So please subscribe, and that way when I get one you'll be notified. And again, I'm not letting this channel go. Please believe me, I'm not letting this channel go. I love doing this. I love doing this with you guys. Just please have some patience while my life is, gets back on track come probably in the spring, and I get settled. And so I'm hoping to actually have a new environment, but we'll see what happens with that as far as my shooting goes. But so just again, you can stay with me there, and again, please subscribe, and then that way you'll know when I do put something up. Today's movie, actually, I was going to do during at Christmas time, but unfortunately didn't get to do it, and that's going to be the movie Scrooged. But this is a movie that is good no matter what time of the year it is. Yeah, certainly it is a holiday classic, but if you watched it in June, July, or September, it's still a great movie. So I'm going to actually, since I was going to do this Christmas, I thought, well, you can watch this any time of the year. It's a great movie just in general. So I'm going to do that movie today, and we'll look back at that classic. Now, the casting, Frank Cross, the TV executive that is going to be the Scrooge-like character in this movie, he's played by Bill Murray. And the studio really wanted Murray. Murray liked the script, but was a little bit hesitant to go back and be a lead in a movie. The reason being was he felt like he was radioactive. And what happened was, obviously Ghostbusters was an enormous success, still one of the highly grossed films of all time. And with the success of that, he went on to star the lead in a movie called The Razor's Edge. And The Razor's Edge tanked. And so after The Razor's Edge, Murray felt as though, oh geez, after that, to be the lead in the movie, whether the studio would want him or he himself just didn't have the confidence, or both. But it was you could realize it was 84. They did The Razor's Edge, and Scrooge was 88. So that was 4 years. So this is Murray's first movie in 4 years. But obviously, he liked this. He liked the script, although again he thought he would be able to do something more with it. But that character of Frank Cross, though, he thought that would be kind of interesting to play a character like that, and took the role. Bobcat Goldthwait plays a guy that works with the network that Bill Murray will fire, and then obviously have dealings with them throughout the movie. And again, I don't want to say too much about stuff. When I get the synopsis, I'm not going to say. I don't want to go delve too much in, because if you want to watch this, I don't want to ruin things, but I'll give you a little brief, a brief overlook of everybody here. Karen Allen plays a past love interest, and actually somebody that never really leaves his life, and they'll have a lot of they'll still have a relationship there that'll be very integral to this movie. Dexter Poindexter, that was his music name. He's actually David Johansen is his real name. He was real big at the time on MTV. He had some interesting music videos on there and some interesting songs, and he became kind of an MTV personality. And again, he got to actually have a name for himself there, which parlayed him into movies back in the mid-late 80s. And he is going to play the Ghost of Christmas Past. And then what's interesting too is Bill Murray's brothers are in this movie, and they have cameo roles on this. You'll see Joel and John will play his brothers in the movie, and they'll have a cameo sitting around at Christmas time with their wives and girlfriends and so forth. And then Brian Doyle Murray, his other brother, will play a cameo as well in the scene where in the Ghost of Christmas Past, where he flashes back to his father when he was a kid. Brian Doyle Murray will play his father in that scene. So that's kind of interesting. The synopsis, again, is based on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and Murray will play a high-ranking executive at a television station. They are looking at doing a remake and airing a remake of A Christmas Carol on the television, and of course Murray, whose name's actually Frank Cross in the movie, Frank Cross then will actually be pushing everybody to work. He doesn't care if it's Christmas, you're working, and you're going to work as late as it is whenever I say. He actually ends up firing Bobcat Goldthwait just because of a disagreement. He sends really expensive gifts to influential people in his life, but his family and people that he deemed to be down in the bottom of the food chain type of thing, he will send them cheaper, real cheaper, thoughtless gifts really for where they are. And so that's kind of what happens here, and you see him spiraling out of control in his personality, his behavior, and the way he's treating people. And so then one night, actually, before the taping of this, he is then going to be visited by an ex-mentor of his who passed away 6 or 7 years prior, and that person comes back obviously looking like he's been in the ground for 6 or 7 years, but comes back and tells Frank, listen, you're going to be visited by 3 ghosts. You know, you'll end up like me, and that's where you're going. And so then the ghosts come up. You have the Ghost of Christmas Past, which I said that was played by David Johansen. He will come in as a taxi driver and take him back to when he was a kid, show him his, Karen Allen and his relationship with her and how he screwed that up. And so to get his wheels going with that. The Ghost of Christmas Present is played by a lady named Carol Kane, who really got a name from the sitcom Taxi. She played Simca in that. She played this a really, really interesting role to kind of show in the present what's going on as far as the families of particularly one of the employees of his and what things look like at home for her, and then of course his family back when they're opening gifts and toasting to him and and really loving him even though he's sending them really kind of thoughtless type of gifts to really make him see what people really still really think of him and things that he's not thinking about too as far as employees go. And of course the Ghost of Christmas Future was more like a Grim Reaper type of character and would show Frank, all right, you don't change your ways, these are things that are happening, and then they go from there. And I'm going to stop there with the synopsis with it. The production was Murray wanted to change the script, didn't believe the director really knew comedy, and there were things in there that he wanted to really change and didn't from the script, and that may have taken a little bit out of it, but I don't think, from what is research, I don't think Murray was really that happy with this. I think he liked this. I think he was going to do it, but I think he really looked at the script as something he'd be able to change. But he butted heads with the director, which was Richard Donner, and who didn't really want that change, but didn't know comedy like Bill Murray did. If there's anybody that can improv, it's Bill Murray. And that's what Ivan Reitman did. We did Meatballs there in this one of our episodes, and Ivan Reitman, knowing Murray, knew that that's totally fine. Give Bill, if he doesn't want to use a script, he will make it better, and make it his own. You don't have to worry about him. And so I don't think Richard Donner saw that. So there was kind of a butting of heads in that. It was shot from December 7th of 87 and March 7th of 1988. Richard Donner didn't do a good thing, though. And the studio wouldn't let them off for Christmas to go be with their families. And so Richard Donner fired them, and so they could go home and spend Christmas with their families, and then rehired them right after Christmas, and they continued with the shooting of the movie. So I thought that was really interesting to do, and I mean, good for him, though. I mean, that was a really cool gesture to have a director do that and find a way to let the people go back for Christmas, and the studio was obviously not allowing that for whatever reason. I mean, you take a few days off. I mean, but they're pushing to get this out, and I think that they see every day counting, and this is maybe what you signed up for. You might have to work a Christmas when you're shooting, but Donner had no part of it, and I say good for him. The soundtrack was really good, but there was one song on there, "Put a Little Love in Your Heart." You watch this movie, you'll hear it. No, it's Annie Lennox and Al Green. That actually peaked at number 9 in the U.S. charts. 7 of the 9 singles from the soundtrack, 7 of the 9 songs from the soundtrack were sent out as singles. That one actually did the best and is the most well known. From box office, it was 1988, and it didn't quite get the top 10. It went about 12 to 13. It was $100 million on a $32 million budget. So, not bad. Probably really to the studios, that's probably kind of mediocre, even though it was pretty close to top 10 as far as grossing sales, but it didn't do badly. And obviously, you see now how it is just a part. It's on. It may not be up there with A Christmas Story or maybe Christmas Vacation, but at Christmas time, you're going to see Scrooge. It is one of those movies that you see everywhere on there, and so it has obviously been a part of our culture too. Certainly in the holidays. But again, it's a movie that you can watch anytime, just like those other ones. I mean, you can watch A Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation in July and still enjoy them. So even though they're looked at holiday movies, certainly in general throughout the year, they're still really good movies to watch. Where can you see this movie? You can see it. Unfortunately, I couldn't see anything where it was free. If you have Tubi, you might check there. I didn't check there to see if it's free on there, but you can get it on Paramount Plus, Row 8, Prime Video, Apple TV, and Vudu. But I believe on those 5, though, they're for rent. But check out Tubi. That's one of the major players, or Freevee2, one of the other 2 major players of this that you can find it for free. But I didn't check those to see if they are. But I know those are there, but you have to rent them on there. And again, thank you for staying with me. And again, keep staying with me here. I know things are going to be hectic over the next few months for me. I may not have a lot of content out, but I promise you I'll get to the point where I'll get back to where I was before. So thank you for stopping by. Again, please like and subscribe. And for now, that's a wrap.